Round one, fight! Fatality! Get over here!
Knockout! Falcon Punch!
But that's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max here on a Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about Mech Tyson, a very fun melee Iron Bear Moze build. Now, I've never done a melee Moze Iron Bear build, and this one is a lot of fun. It's actually very viable. We beat the Guardian takedown with it and the Malamon takedown just using Iron Bear melee fist, which is freaking awesome. This is more of a for fun build than like the best build ever, but if you guys are looking for something fun, exciting, and new to try in Borderlands 3, definitely give this a go. Also, keeping the mustache because we hit over 1.5k likes on the last video. That was pretty cool, you guys. Shooting for another 1.5k likes on this one again, so if you enjoyed the video and that sick intro, please hit that like button, subscribe, and with that, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so showing on the screen right now is the skill tree for Mech Tyson. Now, obviously this is a little different than most builds, so I'm going to explain the skill point decisions and go over the gear and what you guys need for this build. Now, the very first thing that we need to talk about is these Bare Fist augments. Now, these Bare Fist augments do action skill damage. They do not do melee damage. Your Bare Fist does not count as melee damage. It does not work with melee artifacts. You do not get more damage if something is cryoed. They do not proc Groundbreaker. They don't do splash damage. They just get your action skill damage. And because of that, there's some skill point decisions that we made and some skill point decisions that we didn't make. Now, another thing to understand is that the skills in the tree for Moze say, like, for example, Specialist Bear equipping 2 of the same weapons on Iron Bear increase the damage they deal. These Bear Fists are weapons, so they work with Specialist Bear. They are counted in Specialist Bear. Same with things like Desperate Measures. Moze's gun damage and Iron Bear's weapon damage are increased. These are weapons. They get the bonuses from Desperate Measures. So just something that I was a little confused about at first, but when we tested them, these Bare Fist augments do get all of Moze's action skill, gun, or Iron Bear damage boosts. Now, we're going to start off in the green tree. Now, the whole reason we're in the green tree, I'm going to try to go over the skill tree pretty quickly. Whole reason we're going in the green tree is Specialist Bear. Specialist Bear is amazing, plus 60% Iron Bear damage, and we're also grabbing Scorching RPMs, which is going to give us our Iron Bear damage plus 25%. Now, everything else here, we're picking up to keep us alive and doing damage. The more things that we kill when we hop out of Iron Bear, the faster we can get back in Iron Bear and keep punching things. So things like Stoke the Embers, things like Cloud of Lead are just going to help us to not reload and do the most damage so that we can get into Iron Bear faster. Now, we didn't pick up Daka Bear. This is not a flat Iron Bear damage increase. It only happens when you jump in Daka Bear, and because Iron Bear is stationary with its fists, going into Auto Bear doesn't really help it. So do not pick up Daka Bear. Next up, Red Tree. Now, Red Tree, we're going Security Bear. Security Bear is amazing. It's going to give us 50% Iron Bear max health added as shields. Because the shield we're using is the Plus Ultra, when we hop into Iron Bear, we're going to have around 4.2, 4.1 million health, meaning that in total with our shields, we have a little bit over 6 million armor and health, or shields, which means that we're pretty much unkillable. There is nothing that has knocked me out of Iron Bear while playing this build before the duration ends, besides Death Skulls. Death Skulls can knock you out, which is why we're not going to be using them. I'll talk about modifiers in a second, but pretty much unkillable while you're in Iron Bear. Armored Infantry, gun damage reduction. Drowning in Brass was recently changed. It now works for both weapons. Both weapons, as we kill things, are going to get more damage. Super great pickup. Thin Red Line is going to go increase our shields, which I'll talk about in a second. Vlad Ingenuity, more shield, shock damage resistance, and shield recharge rate. Now, the reason we're going Thin Red Line and all these things is because we're going to be going Deathless. Desperate Measures increases our gun damage and Iron Bear's weapon damage, or our Bear Fist. The lower the health we have. So this is going to give us plus 50% weapon damage on these Bear Fists, which is freaking awesome. And because we're mainly an Iron Bear build, that is an amazing pickup. Now, what that does mean is that we're going to have reduced survivability because we're not using a Bloodletter. The reason we're not using a Bloodletter is because we're going to be using the Flare and the Raging Bear as our two columns, but because we're using the Bloodletter, or we're not using the Bloodletter, we don't really have any way to recharge our shields. So our survivability outside of Iron Bear isn't great, but we have so much damage outside Iron Bear that we're just going to kill things before they kill us, and we're going to get Iron Bear so quickly that it doesn't really matter. The survivability is pretty decent, but just know that there's nothing going to be recharging your shields besides just natural shield regen, but we're going to have a lot, so it's going to be all right. And I just put 1 point here at the bottom to Phalanx Doctrine for increasing gun damage and max shields whenever we kill things. Now, Blue Tree is freaking awesome. It's going to allow us to get deadlines, which is draining less fuel. And when we kill things, our fuel, we're going to be able to stay in Iron Bear longer, which is awesome. Grizzled is really nice here. This is what's going to allow us to get into Iron Bear quicker, is whenever we kill an enemy, we're going to get reduced action skill cooldown time. Now, this does have diminishing returns, but at 5 out of 5, when we get at least 5 kills, we're going to get a ton of cooldown. And because we're already rocking so much cooldown percentage reduction, Grizzled is going to be more impactful than something like Explosive Punctuations, which is just percentage reduction. We're going toward cross promotion so that we get more splash damage. Our fists don't do splash damage, our weapons will. It's going to give us more damage to help us kill things faster, and if things are dead, then we can't be dead. Stainless Steel Bear for more maximum fuel, Iron Bear armor, and Iron Bear damage. As many points as you can possibly get into Stainless Steel Bear. This is the best skill that we can get on our class mods, which we'll be talking about in a second. Auto Bear, like I said, Auto Bear doesn't work great because of Bear Fist and the bear doesn't move. However, if you do proc Auto Bear, things will get drawn to Auto Bear. Auto Bear will get aggro, and it's just a nice aggro leaf to have when you jump out of Iron Bear and have to shoot things. I only went 2 into Fire in the Skagden. This gets Mayhem scaling. We're still going to get that fire damage. We're still going to get bonus damage on all of our shots. It's nice to have. We don't need 5 out of 5 here because there's some better utility skill things that we can grab. To the last, if you do go into Second Wind, it's just nice to be able to throw your grenades. And lastly, Short Fuse. The main reason we went this deep in this skill tree, now you could move some points into toward cross promotion into Fire in the Skagden if you wanted, but grabbing Short Fuse is going to allow us to destroy everything. Short Fuse also gets Mayhem scaling as well as Fire in the Skagden, and this combo together with Short Fuse, Fire in the Skagden allows you to melt everything, and you're just going to be able to get into Iron Bear very, very quickly. Now, for our gear, the main weapon you're going to want to be using is the Flipper. The Flipper, as you guys know, is just crazy strong on Moze, and when we're prioritizing killing things, the Flipper is great at that, especially with those things that we just talked about. Best weapon you can use. We're going to use it with a U-Retinoid, and this will allow us to get into Iron Bear very quickly. Now, the other weapon that you're going to want to be using is the Zetz's Eruption. Now, I only use this really for boss kills. I don't use it for mobbing, but when you shoot this thing fully and allow it to overheat, if you cancel it, whether you're canceling it with a grenade, whether you're canceling it with a melee, this thing will spam out debuffs, which will increase the damage that you do. Its piss also debuffs enemies, so what I'll do is I'll run up to like Trant, I'll debuff, have the things pop out, make sure, and then I'll pop an Iron Bear, 2 punches, and Tron will be dead. If Valkyries will be dead. It does crazy, crazy damage, this combo. You don't need to use it, but for bossing, it's incredibly strong. Talking about bossing, the Flare is the best bossing comm that we can use. This 100% damage is multiplicative. It applies to the Bear Fist, and for the Ice to kill, for the Wendigo kill, Anything that is very tanky that you want to kill with this build, use the flare. Now, when it comes to long duration fights, such as doing a takedown, the Raging Bear is just going to be better. The Raging Bear is going to allow you to stay in Iron Bear longer, and it's going to give you damage the longer you are in Iron Bear, because you're going to be taking damage. It's overall great. It boosts deadlines and stainless steel. The best class mod that you can use with this, besides for bossing. If you want the absolute most damage for a short amount of time, use the flare. If you want to use, if you want to run through a Proving Grounds or Athenas or something like that, definitely use the Raging Bear. It just has a little bit of an upper hand on the flare. For shields, we're using the Plus Ultra. Plus Ultra, after exiting Iron Bear, kills increase Iron Bear's cooldown rate by 30%. Now, that's the anoint we're going to be looking for. The Plus Ultra has the default special that it's going to give you plus 25% chance to absorb bullets as ammo and increase action skill cooldown rate by 30%. This cooldown rate by 30%, plus after exiting Iron Bear, kills increase Iron Bear's cooldown rate by 30%, is the main reason I didn't go explosive punctuations. Now, you could go 5 into explosive punctuations, but with so much cooldown rate percentage, you're going to run into diminishing returns, and we're going to get cooldown by killing things. So the more damage that we can have, the more cooldown we're going to get. So didn't go explosive punctuations. I think this is just fine. I haven't had any issues with Iron Bear cooldown with this build. Lastly, I've been using a Snowdrift Deathless. You can use whatever Deathless you want, because we're not using a Bloodletter. Like, you can't get away with like a Knife Drain and a Face Puncher, which I was kind of thinking about. But Snowdrift Deathless is really nice. It's gonna help you get around places faster, get away from enemies faster if you want to hide behind things. And on your actions, or on your class mod and on your artifact, you're gonna be wanting to look out for action skill damage. That's the best thing that you can have. And besides that, that's really all you need. I've got a bunch of other things, but the Flipper and the Zetzes are pretty much the only two weapons that you really need for this build. Lastly, for our modifiers, I use Not the Face. Critical hit damage is reduced by 75%. You can't crit with the Bare Fists, so Not in the Face is awesome. It's a very, very easy modifier to run with this build because it's not going to impact any of your damage besides shooting, and you're already going to be doing so much splash damage that crits don't really matter. And then the next thing is Speed Demon. Speed Demon is going to increase your movement speed when you get a kill. This works in Iron Bear. So if you kill something while you're in Iron Bear, you're going to get 50% movement speed. This is amazing because we're a melee build, and this allows you to fly from enemy to enemy to punch them faster and get around quicker. Speed Demon is a must-have. Not the Face is a must-have. You definitely want these two modifiers because they're going to synergize the absolute best with this build. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. A little bit of a different build, but it's a lot of fun. Iron Bear is able to punch things very, very hard, and this kind of build is finally viable where something like this hasn't been viable in a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!